On June 14th issue in Perry County Tribune, you list issues that have been brought to your attention from the public. In quotes in the article, the illicit drug program, which has caused an inordinate amount of overdoses and aggravates our mental health crisis. You go on to say that the current sheriff, Sheriff Barker, had gotten rid of the drug task force and did away with the tactical team. We no doubt have a drug problem. What can you do if elected sheriff?
Right, and I'll just allude back to what we talked about earlier, the two-pronged effect of how we can stop the drug problem or help alleviate it or minimize it is a two-pronged approach of a robust, aggressive enforcement plan to stop the flow of drugs into our area,
Mm-hmm.
and an educational element behind that to teach our citizens, especially our youth, that this is something that is not good to do.
Right.
Even though a lot of people can say, well, isn't that obvious? Well, no, it's not. Okay, obviously, it's not obvious, to be paradoxical. Right. But so that approach and the first prong is the training and collaboration with outside agencies to stop that flow of the illegal drugs into our communities. You know, I talked about the joint special operations team that we're putting together. What have we done to make that happen? That's very difficult to do when you're working with two agencies. Other agencies want to get involved, but it's hard because you're dealing with two administrations, two councils, just with New Lex and Somerset, let alone the other villages that want to be part of it, to get all, you know, the legal ramifications behind that, the mutual aid agreements that need to be put into place, the jurisdictional aspects of it, working with the prosecutors' office. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. An important thing to do, which I talked about a little bit before, was the training. What have we done to do that? We sent 6 operators to SWAT school up in Franklin County. We're one of the best SWAT schools in the state. That with prerequisites to get into that SWAT school. I sent 3 operators, and myself being involved. I'm one of those operators, and both we went to advanced SWAT school. We were part of the team that won the competition up there in that SWAT school, believe it or not. So we're giving name, you know, that were coming from Perry County. People were like, "Where are you from?" Somerset, New Lex, right? But we prepare for that. That's my responsibility as a team leader to prepare for the training. So we go up there looking like we know what we're doing, and we did so well we won. That's pretty good. I'm very proud of that. And then you know, I went to Ohio Tactical Officers Association Team Leader School. So that's one step in the right direction. And then the collaboration with Central Ohio Drug Enforcement Task Force, which we're both part of, and the Ohio Narcotics Intelligence Center, which is a great entity that's part of is brainchild of Governor DeWine, and he put some great people in charge of running that. And it's a data collection and technological aspect of drug crimes throughout the state. So we can take, they have analysts there, and the analyzing of crime trends and data collection of crime reporting is how you police. And to have a centralized entity like that that can provide you with that information at no cost to you is invaluable. So using them, I went up there and met with the director of ONIC and spent about 2 hours up there, and it was a great resource to be able to talk to. So, and we're using them with a couple of our cases. So, and then the collaboration, I use that word again with, because it's such an important word with in law enforcement. You can't silo your information, or else you're just you're banging your head up against the wall, because if there's drug activity right outside Somerset that I don't know about or don't have the jurisdictional ability to do anything about it, and the sheriff's department's trying to do something about it, they're not telling me, then we're not serving the public the best we can.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So using all that, getting together and sharing information to combat the problem is so important. And then not just within the county, but the outskirts of the county. You got to work with Muskingum County, Fairfield, Athens, Hocking, Licking, Morgan County, all the counties, because that's where it gets flowing in from, right?
Right.
There's certain areas more so than others, but you got to work. Law enforcement together has to work. You can't isolate yourself in your information and your operational plans. You got to work together, especially when your resources are so thin.
Right.
And then, of course, the second pronged approach is getting people into the schools, getting and working with other government agencies, other county agencies that are out there that are helping with drug addiction recovery, or educating youth, or educating the communities about drugs. And say for instance, hey, you might want to go buy a dime bag of weed, but it could be laced with fentanyl. So the next time you spark a joint, you might die.
Right.
Well, some guy might not know that. They need to be educated on. They might think twice about who they're buying their dope from.
Right.
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 They might want to go to Colorado to grow and get some real stuff. I don't know, but you get my point.
Yeah,
You're not going to get it off the guy on the corner.
Right.
So yeah. So
it's an unregulated market, and that's what makes it so daggone dangerous. It's not knowing the grower, not knowing the seller, and even if you did, what recourse would you have if it was laced? If it's not a regulated market, then you can't go after anybody.
Well, there's ways, but it's very difficult.
It's difficult. Very difficult. If you have an establishment, say Rocky's weed store, and I'm selling weed that has laced fentanyl, then you know where to go to come after me.
Well, Rocky, if it's regulated, they're not a grow is not going to lace their stuff, right?
Right.
Their job, their desire is to make money.
Right.
Not that I'm advocating for legal marijuana, but the people have to realize that drug dealers are not good people. Okay, now, not to saying that if your friend slings weed or whatever, that they're necessarily an evil person, but their intent is to make money.
Yeah.
Off of
it isn't quality control. It's to make money.
It's to make money, and the harder the drug, and the more addictive it is, and the more detrimental it is to the user, that seller knows what they're doing. They know that they're causing that person to become addicted, whether even if it's weed, if it's psychologically addicted, or if you do become physically dependent upon it, which is possible. You're preying on that person's weakness, knowing the ramifications, the consequences of what that person might die,
right? And
knowing that it's being laced at the most primitive level. I mean, the cartels are doing it, so it could, the middlemen are doing it as well, because what does the fentanyl do? It makes your product more addictive.
Yeah.
So if you lace it, and you talked about quality control, they don't know how much fentanyl is it going to be a lethal dose.
Right.
Right.
It's like they're reading studies to see how deadly fentanyl is, but to put the proper amounts in it. So that's what makes it more dangerous. It's not regulating.
Right. You're rolling the dice. You're rolling the dice every time you take a hit of heroin.
Right.
Or if you're doing fentanyl straight, how much is going to kill you? Were you clean for a while?
Right. That's a big one too.
Right. Now, so now all of a sudden, what used to get you high is now going to kill you.
Right.
So it's such a gamble, and the public needs to be educated on that.
Yeah.
And especially the youth that hasn't tried it yet. In the cities, when crack came out in the 90s, and even, I mean, they still operate the way today, is, your first rock's for free.
Oh,
First rock's free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're hooked. You're chasing that first high for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, you know, you debrief people that are addicted to it. That first high on crack or meth or whatever is what you're chasing, because it's on the way that people describe it. You know, it's probably inappropriate for me to say,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
because it's so, the high is so intense,
Right.
and you never get the same high again. You're constantly chasing that for the rest of your life,
Right.
until you eventually are strong enough to get clean, if you are, and that's very difficult. But yeah, so that there's your two-pronged approach, and a little more in depth on both sides.
What time do you gotta leave?
My appointment's at 1.
How much? I don't know what time you gotta leave here.
Well, I gotta be at the VA in Columbus at 1. What time is it now?
10 o'clock.
Oh, we're good.
We're good for
Oh
a little
yeah, I
bit.
gotta leave. Yeah, I gotta leave probably. It's only 10. See, my watch still says 11 because I didn't put it back yet.
Because I have 7 more questions, but I don't know how much we'll chatter about them. You know what I mean? So,
Well, this is coming off. He's saying, "Hey, you're rambling on too much. Just, you know,
well, I like
cut it."
to let you go. You know what I mean? Just because it's authentic. People get to see who you really about, who you
Okay.
are. You know what I mean? So I just let you go.